And that's why I'm sharing it, because those three things should be important to everybody listening to me today. All right. But this is not about Oprah. So you may have heard that Oprah Winfrey just sold most of her stake in her own cable network. That's her own as in it belongs to her, and that's own as in that's the name of it. I've always loved the double entendre with own, Oprah Winfrey Network. But she just sold most of her stake in her own cable network. I need you to catch what's happening here. If you don't collaborate, you will likely evaporate. So Oprah Winfrey launched this network in 2011 as a 50-50 partnership with Discovery, which put up $100 million in funding. Catch that first. Other people's money. We've all heard of that. We use that in real estate a lot. I'm not going to start my sports facility with my own money. Partnership, collaboration, very important. So the network struggled first because Oprah Winfrey knew how to develop content. What Oprah Winfrey did not have was the history of drawing an audience to a network that would have multiple different kinds of content. She was great at content creation, but only for 1 to 2 pieces of content. A network needs 24 hours, 7 days a week content. So what she did, the first thing she did, smart thing she did, was to collaborate with Discovery. Second smart thing she did was to let them put up the money. The third smart thing she did was to let them do what they do best, provide the infrastructure for a cable network. Then the fourth thing Oprah Winfrey did that really turned the tide for her network was to partner with Tyler Perry. Now, if you're not familiar with Tyler Perry, the newest billionaire in this space, Tyler Perry started with plays, literally stage plays, and started traveling the country. Most people think doing plays, but what he was doing was building his audience for the day that he would become a billionaire, for the day that he would become one of the most in-demand producers, writers, producers, directors on the planet, for the day that he could pour his content into a network. Tyler Perry is a beast at content creation. I'm not here to ask you to become a Tyler Perry fan. I haven't seen most of Tyler Perry's stuff. But what I do marvel at is Tyler Perry's hustle and Tyler Perry's genius at what he does well. So Oprah Winfrey collaborated with the guy who had a built-in audience that he worked very hard to build, 25 to 54 African-American women, unapologetically, that is his audience, and a guy who had a penchant for doing one thing, creating content. Creating content. Oprah Winfrey has a network. She needs content. Marriage made in heaven. Now, I have never seen Greenleaf or Queen Sugar, but I hear some of y'all swear by it. And I believe you, because it had a rabid fan base. That's what Tyler Perry did well. Now, they marry. Oprah Winfrey, own Oprah Winfrey Network. Tyler Perry, get married. All of a sudden, OWN is doing extremely well. The missing piece for the Oprah Winfrey Network in the early 2011, 12, 13 was content and a very specific commitment to audience. Once that happened, everything changed for the Oprah Winfrey Network. So that's a lesson for all of us business builders, conglomerate builders. Collaborate or you will evaporate. You will become irrelevant in the marketplace. You will become replaceable by your fans in their minds. Collaborate or evaporate. Next lesson, iterate or deteriorate. So it's no surprise that the value of OWN has dropped over the past 3 years. All right? Lots of cable viewership has dropped over the last 3 to 5 years because people are cutting the cords. I don't have cable television. I'm one of those cord cutters. I have every streaming service you could possibly think of on the planet, but I don't have a network package. I can't watch ABC, CBS on I don't have it. I don't have television in the normal sense, in the usual sense, the traditional sense. So if I'm going to watch it, I'm either going to be at someone else's house watching traditional television, or I'm going to look on my tablet. I'm going to be on my iPad or my phone or my computer watching. So the landscape changed. Oprah Winfrey's background is in broadcast television. You can't just stay where you are. You've got to go where the industry is going. That's what made Dennis Rodman such an amazing rebounder. Dennis Rodman played for the Detroit Pistons and also played for the San Antonio Spurs, but also won championships with the Chicago Bulls. And he became a great rebounder because he went where the ball was going. He had the intuition, the great foresight to know that when a ball went up, the trajectory of that ball, where it was going to come down. And he made a living, millions, Hall of Fame career, knowing where the ball was going. Same thing with us as CEOs, founders, entrepreneurs. Where is your industry going? Now, had Oprah Winfrey decided, all I'm going to do is broadcast television. That's my thing, people. I'm just going to do broadcast television. If that's all she was going to do, I don't know that Oprah would have become a multi-billionaire, because the landscape needed something else. Consumers were asking for something else. So are you iterating in your company? Are you iterating in your ministry, if that's what you do? Are you iterating with your brand? I have meetings, like 4 meetings every Monday. And in one of those meetings with my team, one of them asked me, how are you always 5 to 10 years ahead of everybody else, or what everybody else is doing? And I said, yeah. And in some cases, some of the things that I was doing didn't really work out as well as I thought they were going to work out, because the marketplace wasn't ready for it yet. One of those, well, I won't tell you what one of those are, because we may resurrect that one. But nevertheless, there are several things that I've done over the years that were where we're going, but we're not there yet. Therefore, the critical mass that's needed for a company to actually be successful requires consumers, it requires marketplace readiness, it requires buyers, right? So you have to be ready to iterate. What we're doing is really good and we're doing it really well, but where are we going? And you have to be asking those questions all the time, because if you ask those questions too late, then you will definitely be in a situation where your company, your business, your services will be in a state of deterioration. So you have to iterate right now. Prepare your iteration plan right now, so that you don't end up like a lot of companies who were not prepared for the pandemic. They were not prepared for anything like what we've seen in the last 12 months. And a lot of those companies have deteriorated simply because they didn't iterate fast enough. They thought this thing was going to pass. They thought, oh, we'll be fine in Q3, we'll be fine. And that didn't happen. This year I grew 3 companies, all with a team. Because I've learned the hard way, doing it alone or even attempting to do something alone is always harder than it needs to be. The right collaboration is always, without question, not even debatable, smarter. The right collaboration is always smarter. That's what I learned by playing on great teams. Yes, I could have gone to colleges where I could have gotten to shoot all the balls, gotten all the awards, but I was never going to win a championship. And for me, doing something great with other people always felt more aligned with who I am. And that's what I've learned in business. Yes, I've started my companies generally by myself and then quickly brought on team. This year, I grew several companies, all with the team. Because doing it alone is much harder than it needs to be. You're amazing. I'm sure you can do it. But the right collaboration is going to allow you to do it faster and smarter. So that's it. Collaborate and iterate. Have a great 2021.